welcome to People's Voice on VOP Television, where we dive into the heart of Nigeria's dynamic landscape as we amplify the concerns and perspectives of the everyday citizens, you and I. My name is Adefunke Jayesimi, and today on the show we are navigating a complex web of politics, security and social dynamics that are shaping the nation's future. On the political scene, there is a new bride. Yes, you heard correctly, a new bride who's definitely not a virgin, but maybe preference, the preferred bride, ADC. The African Democratic Congress is gaining momentum with high-profile defections from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, including former Senate President David Mark. Mark's decision to join the ADC is a significant blow to the PDP, which has been grappling with internal divisions and leadership crisis. But what does this mean for the future of Nigerian politics and the future of our citizens who want better alternatives to choose from? Elections are coming soon. Meanwhile, the ADC is facing its own set of challenges as the party's National Publicity Secretary, Dr. Musa Issa Matara, has called on members to reject attempts by some politicians to hijack the party following the influx of new members to form an opposition coalition. This internal conflict could have far-reaching implications for the party's unity and effectiveness. But we might just have to use Labour Party as a reference point just to serve as deterrent to people that think that you can go into People's Party and begin to drive the wheel. I mean, you might not have full access. It might not be as sweet as it look, but we are here right now, and of course we are here for all the development. But on the part of the All Progressives Congress, they are also dealing with internal challenges, including the suspension of Nasarawa APC chairman Aliyu Bello over alleged anti-party activities. This move highlights the party's struggles to maintain cohesion and discipline ahead of the 2027 elections. But something totally different from politics, beyond political maneuvering, Nigerian citizens are facing real-life challenges in the southeast region. There is a report of the killing of 13 residents of Ebonyi origin in Anambra State, and this has sparked outrage and condemnation. The governor of Ebonyi State, Francis Nwefuru, has called for a swift and transparent investigation, and the incident has also raised serious questions about security and justice in the country. But yes, as we look ahead to 2027 elections, the stakes are high. The ADC coalition is positioning itself as a major player, with the Anambra Guber candidate John Nwosu seeing the November 8th election in the state as a test for the coalition. Meanwhile, the national coordinator for the Obedient Movement Worldwide, Dr. Tanko Yunusa, has disclosed that Peter Obi has submitted a one-term proposal to the Atiku-led coalition. But again, how will this work? We're here for it. In today's edition of People's Voice, we will be exploring these developments in depth, analyzing the implications for Nigeria's future and the lives of its citizens. And some of the key questions on some of Nigerians' mind include: what does David Mark's defection mean for the PDP and the ADC? How will the internal conflicts within the ADC affect the party's chances in the 2027 elections? What can be done to address the security challenges facing Nigerian citizens? And what are the implications of the proposed one-term proposal for Nigeria's political future? Well, this and more we'll be talking about, so stay tuned for a detailed and nuanced exploration of these issues and more as we ask some of the questions on your mind, perspectives that shape Nigeria's future, and provide you with insights you need to understand just so you can get a grip of the dynamics playing in our nation at the moment. To be a part of the conversation, the number to call via WhatsApp is 090-447-32605. 090-447-32605 is the number to call or text. And you can follow us on social media at VOPTV Live and tweet us using the hashtag People's Voice on VOPTV. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button and let's make our voices heard and shape the narrative that affects every one of us. Let's take a break now and come back with a deeper dive into the ADC's dynamics. We'll analyze the party's strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, and also explore what the future might hold for Nigerians. Please stay tuned.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more.
Join me on Sundays every 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Voice of the People TV.
Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome back to People's Voice on VOP Television, where we are shining the spotlight on Nigeria's political landscape, which is witnessing a significant shift as prominent leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the North have endorsed the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as a preferred platform for the proposed coalition group ahead of the 2027 general elections. This development comes after weeks of deliberation among northern opposition politicians who were considering either aligning with an existing party or awaiting the registration of a new one. According to John Chuma Nwosu, the ADC flag bearer for Anambra State gubernatorial election, ADC was chosen due to its established presence and recognition across the country's geopolitical zones. And unlike the All Democratic Alliance ADA, which is still pending registration with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The decision to join forces under the ADC umbrella is seen as a strategic move by many to strengthen the opposition's chances in 2027 elections, but also emphasized that ADC's long-standing history, national recognition, and credible leadership make it an ideal platform for the coalition. But I would like to know what you think about his thoughts. I mean, what's the story of ADC in Nigerian politics? But this development has also sparked discussions about the political impact, the potential impact on Nigeria's political future, particularly in terms of opposition unity and the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC's prospect. Meanwhile, PDP heavyweights, including the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Senate President David Mark, have called for unity among Nigerian politicians to rescue the country from the current challenges. On the part of PDP, the current state of that party has been a major concern for members of the party and those that have defected, with leaders lamenting that the party's decline since the 2023 presidential election and the resignation of the former national chairman, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, is worrisome. But in a communique read by David Mark, the group expressed deep concern over internal divisions and external suppression by the APC, which they believe have weakened the PDP's capacity to function as a credible opposition in Nigeria. As the opposition parties navigate these challenges, questions arise about the future of Nigerian politics and the potential for a united opposition to challenge the ruling party. What are your thoughts on the implications of these developments for the 2027 elections and Nigeria's political future, and how might the ADC coalition unite? I mean, aggrieved, that's the word, aggrieved opposition, and how can they strategize to form alliances that will impact good governance and democratic process in Nigeria? Yes, it's never a one-man show. I'm being joined now in the studio by Mr. Dele Fanimo, in our senior analyst, to dive deeper into the dynamics of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and its potential and implication for the 2027 elections. Good afternoon, Mr. Dele Fanimo.
Good afternoon. Okay. It's good to have me here again.
Yes, it's very important to have you here to have like a follow-up to our initial conversation about this coalition, which we talked about on Tuesday. But let's start with the ADCs.
But before we start, I think I have to express my...
You want to express your what?
My mixed feelings over the reaction I got from the last intervention. It was bad news all over.
That's expected.
On X and everywhere.
That's expected.
But then I still hold on to my view anyway.
Okay, that's interesting to know. But let's start with ADC's history and its potential strengths and weaknesses. You know, also who is the gubernatorial candidate of ADC in Anambra State has come to say that, oh, rather than wait to register the ADA party, which might not be registered, ADC was found worthy and it has a history, it has good potential that is worthy of, emulation, which is the reason why these coalition leaders decided to settle for ADC. But as an analyst, and I don't like the way you're looking right now. As an analyst, and of course, you've been in this business for a long time. What can you say about the ADC's history? And also, Nigerians are curious about the potential for internal wrangling within the party too, particularly given the diverse background of its leaders, including Atiku Abubakar, we see Aminu Waziri Tambuwa, we see David Mark, there's Rauf Aregbesola, and we'd like to explore the history of these leaders from their role in the APC formation to their defection, and how might their past experiences also shape the decisions and actions within this new coalition party, ADC.
Thank you very much. You see, let's start by saying that the sole reason why they chose ADC is because of that word, A.
African.
No, A, that letter A, because on the ballot.
Really? Okay, let's have it.
On the ballot, if you use ZLP, that means you are looking at the bottom of the ballot paper. And not everybody will have the patience to go all the way down to go and look for ZLP. But ADC will come before APC. So technically, it will be within the first 5 political parties that will contest and that will be on the ballot. So that is the sole reason why they chose ADC. And that's why they are also looking at what is this one that they are planning to register? The
initial one, ADA.
ADA.
Yeah.
So ADC, ADA. If they register ADA, I'm sure they will port to ADA so that they can have another notch. Because ADA, the last A comes before C. Do you understand the logic now?
Yeah.
That is the sole reason. These politicians, they know that there is no political party in Nigeria but platforms.
No, but for...
Just wait. They know that there is no political party but platforms in Nigeria. So anyone that catches their fancy, based on this thing I've just highlighted, is good for them. Particularly a comatose party that has been in ICU for so long a time.
No, but ADC is saying that the party was chosen because of its established presence and recognition across the country's geopolitical zones, unlike the all-democratic alliance.
Has ADC produced a governor before? Have they produced a senator before? Have they produced a House of Rep member before?
But they always have candidates and they're always on the ballot.
Pretenders are not the real people. Look, before you can say a party is in the consciousness of Nigerians, Labour Party is more prominent because Labour Party has a history. There was Mimiko who won on the ticket of... So Labour Party today can boast and beat their chest that they have produced a governor. Then, the last election, they produced another governor, Alex Oti. They produced senators who had already decamped to APC, but at least they produced. It's on record that they produced senators, they produced House of Rep members, they produced even state legislators. So, compared to ADC, that is always and also ran. Okay, if you want to go by that, after all, AAC, Shogore's party, had produced a candidate for presidential election. Is that enough justification to rate even AAC along with a party like Labour Party today? No! They have not shown any presence anywhere. People just go there and stroll in and say maybe an activist in the neighborhood will just pick AAC is not paying to register and it becomes a candidate of that party automatically. It's not the same thing as somebody who is going to Labour Party, who is going to APC, who is going to PDP, who is going to SDP. who would have to pay, who have to be screened. Nobody screens for those moribund parties that are just there for the cherry picking.
But let's talk about the history of the party itself and now the history of the leaders that have come together to form this coalition. How might their past experiences shape their decision and actions while
you see, I am not going to dwell ADC. On ADC history because there is no history behind it other than the prop-up candidates who would ordinarily want to show their face on the ballot.
Okay, so what do you see with the coalition
now? Just the same way APP was dead before Fubara picked it in 2 weeks and won elections, which we know,
for the
local government elections in Rivers. So which we know is the same thing that is playing out here. They know that SDP, they wanted to birth in SDP, but the people in SDP that have shown some promise in the past in the political firmament felt, no, you can't come here and come and usurp our powers. You have to negotiate. Even ADC, as comatose as it is now, they are shouting that they are not going to allow them to take over their party.
Exactly, because their national publicity secretary already gave a press release.
The reason is not far-fetched. You can't come to my house. At least you show courtesy of bringing gifts for me. That's what they are saying.
So his intention is not really about the integrity of the person nominated for as interim chairman or secretary.
No. What they are saying, ADC is saying, we have been managing this party now. We have been keeping it afloat. Now that we want to come and take it over, you must pay some money now. You must also assuage us by saying, okay, if you use our vehicle, these are the benefits. You can't ride a commercial bus without paying the conductor. And that's what they are asking for.
And conductor must pay Agbero before leaving the park.
Conductor must pay Agbero.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about the potential benefits and drawbacks of the PDP's decision to join forces with the ADC, because it's obvious most of these people are moving from the PDP to the ADC. Something that initially looked like a win for the All Progressives Congress is now looking like an advantage for the African Democratic Congress. How might this impact the party's identity and influence?
I just read Ologbodiyon's statement now.
Oh, you saw it?
So that their worry in PDP is how to bring back those who defected to APC. So what does that tell you? PDP will not merge with ADC wholesale for the next election. PDP has formidable antecedent and structure that will not want they will not want to subsume themselves to this coalition.
Do you foresee the new PDP scenario like what we had in 2012, 2013?
That is not anything to debate here because the new PDP left wholesale to join APC. But I've not seen, apart from this man, former Senate President.
David Mark.
Who is that big shot from PDP that is moving to ADC?
There's a potential of Aminu Tambuwal.
Potential. And if Aminu goes back to ADC, it doesn't really matter much to PDP. But we are talking about not just individuals, maybe 1, 2, 3, compared to the structure in PDP. Some governors are still holding on to the structure of APC. You see, in the final analysis, let's be realistic with ourselves. These people are likely to cancel themselves. In fact, they will make it very easy for Tinubu to come back. Because that we not go agree will soon pop up. And that we not go agree is the fact that they will divide those votes that should have come en bloc. The same way they divided Labour Party and PDP votes and gave Tinubu the free passage.
But many other Nigerians are not seeing what you are seeing.
It is left for them not to see. Even the politicians, they don't want them to see. They blindfold them and go to the polls and press whatever they will tell them to pay to thumb print. But the point is, when are we going to really realize that these politicians are deceiving us, that are telling us lies?
So if all the politicians are deceiving us and telling us lies, we still need an alternative to align with. So are you saying that the people that have made up this coalition will not be able to sit down together and make firm decision in the interest of Nigeria by bringing out a flag bearer that might just be a shock to everybody.
Should we begin to estray these gladiators? For you to know that everything that had come is driven by ambition, greed.
What if they wake up tomorrow to win Omale Elesho to their party and say that being someone from the southwest, they want to support him?
Never change its sport. That's the truth. Is it Erufai that was blinded by unbridled ambition in 2014, who worked against Jonathan, and to the extent that he was part of those people that brought our problem to us in Nigeria today? Their leaders in that party brought fighters, mercenaries from Mali, Sudan, and everywhere. And they formed a formidable threat to the national security of this country. Today, these are the people that metamorphed into banditry. Now, we are dealing with banditry today. And security operatives are saying that majority of these people that are engaged in banditry and this other farmer clash are not even Nigerians. Who brought them into this country? Who allowed them? Toji Bello was driven from Niger, his own country, and he found a safe haven in Nigeria. Who allowed it? Why is it that the state that became ungovernable for 8 years, Kaduna, under somebody's watch, in less than 2 years, peace has returned? Nobody has been attacked.
Still extraying these leaders. Yes, you've talked about El-Rufai. We know Atiku Abubakar's ambition and all. But this might just be the time where these people might just want to surprise Nigerians.
This was the same story they told us about Buhari. That Buhari is now a changed person. He's now a Democrat. As a matter of fact, he's ready to do everything. When people are raising dust, that this man is too parochial, this man is too sentimental about his tribe and religion. They say, no, he's a changed person. They went to put coats that he never wore in his life. They dressed him in suits. There was nothing they didn't do.
So are you saying that the Buhari that led Nigeria for 8 years was not what was sold to Nigerians?
Okay, can you just explain to me what was sold to Nigeria compared to what Buhari turned out to be? Somebody that a lot of things were happening in his government, he would deny some. And he is the driver. How can you be a driver and you don't know the passenger inside of the vehicle? The number of passengers that are seated behind you?
It depends on the size of the vehicle you're driving, actually. Okay. It might be a train and,
if you use a trailer.
Exactly. Things like that might not be straightforward. That's why you have a lot of essays, conductors, and the likes. But let's talk about how the ADC's establishment, how might the ADC's established presence and recognition across Nigeria geopolitical zones contribute to the opposition chances in 2027 elections, and what are the potential risks or challenges that the party might face?
You see, for me, I don't have any problem with coalition. I don't have any problem with a coalition that will bring about change. I don't have any problem about a coalition that would take us to the next level in this country. As a matter of fact, I'm one of those who are tired of having to recycle old horses that had learned how to run a race a particular way that is not going to deviate or detour from such routes.
If you talk about old horses, all the parties have the same people.
What I'm saying is there are some people that have done very well in their spheres of endeavor that a coalition can look up to and say, okay, this particular person, let's try this person. We have them across the country. Look at Femi Akinwumi Adesina that just left the African Development Bank.
He's not a politician.
What you can be? Who is not a politician? If you can manage your own very well, you're a politician. What is politics? Ability to harness human resources and.
But you talked about the Okada man that won election on Monday. He's a family man. If he could run his family properly, then nobody should question his abilities or capabilities as an honorable House member.
I only got worried when he kept his mouth shut when there was a debate over 160 million naira. Shouldn't that have even scared him? From Okada to 160 million, how will he have maintained it if he's not going to the house to corrupt himself?
There's the year and name part of the house too, where you don't need to do much.
From Okada that is less than 1 million naira to 160 million naira vehicle.
Mr. Fanimo,
he should not be afraid that he's riding on that car.
Let's talk about the opposition chances, please.
You see, opposition chances would have been brighter if they would push. Don't you know that there is an ambush in this ADC coalition? The person that is working assiduously to emerge as the presidential candidate of ADC has not even shown up to say, this is my ambition, and which is Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar will never cede that presidential ticket to anybody in any party where he's holding sway. So
that would lead me to this question now. What role might Atiku Abubakar, Aminu Tambuwal, if he joins David Mark, Rauf, Aregbesola, play in shaping ADC's platform and direction? And how might their interest and ambition also impact unity and effectiveness in the party?
You see, ADC with an Atiku Abubakar would ensure that power returns to the north prematurely. That's the agenda. And the likes of Rauf Aregbesola will be used to achieve the northern agenda in this ADC.
Is that what you think?
That's what I know. You see, when I make permutation in politics, I'm sorry to be immodest here. I've never been faulted and at the long run. It will always happen.
But the national coordination of
because
the
I'm not sentimental.
Movement
I'm not emotional.
Also said that Peter Obi had submitted
Peter Obi will not be allowed under the watch of Peter Obi will not be allowed to be candidate of this ADC under the watch of Abubakar Atiku and El-Rufai. You know the antecedents. They are not to be trusted. What they are talking about in the north. You see, the unfortunate thing about us in the south here is that some of us don't even exchange our handshake beyond the Niger. So for us to know the mindset of the other people or the other side of the divide. When we were saying change here, when they wanted to chase Jonathan away from government, the northerners were saying, give us power. We can't wait for another 4 years.
Say Baba, who were saying change. They were saying say Baba.
That is the point. Because it broadly represented their interests. Now, the arithmetic they are working in the north today is that out of 26 years, and by May 29, 2027, that will be about 28 years
of
uninterrupted democracy. Yeah. They are saying that they only have 10, and the South has 18.
Yeah, because of the death of
Yaradua. Now, they now want those 8 years back so that we can now start on a level playing ground. And that is the logic behind this ADC that Southerners are just rushing into, not minding some of those plans, not minding all the landmines that have been laid on the path.
So there's always...
And unfortunately, the Southerners they are driven by hatred, vengeance, and malice.
So there's always an
undertone. So it is convenient for the northern elements in this party to use them because they are blinded by these parameters and then land safely in Nassau Rock in 2027. I don't mind. I'm not an active player in politics.
Exactly. I was going to say, does it matter if, as long as Nigerians get the kind of leadership that they
Is it Atiku that is a better candidate? Show me any of this. Is it David Mark that is a better candidate for Nigeria for 2027?
So are you saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best that Nigeria can the political elite can project for 2027 elections?
For me to find an alternative in Tinubu, I will look for somebody that has not been tainted on certain parameters. And these people, Atiku superintended over 16 billion power projects under BPE. And he was the one that brought El-Rufai to that government. What did El-Rufai do to him before they left PDP 2007? The unfortunate thing is we are not students of history in this country. And that's why it's just sloganeering, and you follow it sheepishly without looking at the antecedents. I just mentioned, if you bring somebody like Kangiwa, retired, I think he retired as a major lieutenant colonel, that is now farming ostrich and some other things there. That man has been consistent. He's never a politician. Bring somebody that has not been tainted and soiled. I recall that there was a time in this country, and we don't want to mention the newspaper, that they decided that anybody, in fact, it was this biology day, forgotten the name of the paper now.
What was their decision? What was their decision?
The decision was that anybody that has practiced journalism, they are not going to take in that newspaper. They recruited fresh hands and then picked pockets of people with credibility over the years in practice.
To oversee the affairs.
To oversee. And they were well trained. Those guys, they were hungry for fame. They were hungry for exposure. Okay. And at the end of the day, if not for bad management, that newspaper would have continued to thrive.
Unfortunately, it is what it is. But let's talk about APC's response to the opposition's efforts to unite and challenge its dominance in the political space. What strategies might the ruling party employ to maintain its power and influence? And do you also see the APC as being challenged with what's happening in the political space right now?
APC outwardly is being challenged, and for good reason. No government in power will sit by and allow all these things play out and then feel that all is well, all is good. It's like somebody sitting pretty well in his sitting room and the roof is on fire. In no time, the fire will consume the whole house and probably consume him. So APC will not fold its arm and begin. That's why people are saying that they are infiltrating their ranks, and they are planting moves here and there, and to ensure that there is no stability in all the other parties.
Yeah.
So, and which is game in politics? It's game.
So you feel like the other parties also have moves within the APC?
They should go and get moves planted in APC too. The doors are opened. It's not written in anybody's forehead that I'm a molo, so beware of me. So let them also walk through that. The point is, either we like it or not, the game of politics is like a chess game. You must find a way of checkmating your opponent at any point in time.
Do you see any surprises coming, before 2027 election? Because it feels like politicking started way too early. I don't think we've rested since 2023. Immediately, the elections were concluded and party power handed over to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It felt like the campaign for 2027 elections started immediately. And with the way things have continued to evolve over a period of 2 years now, do you think there are more surprises for Nigerians?
There is this saying that 24 hours is too long a day in politics. You can't hazard what will happen tomorrow. Until the day of election, anything can happen. I recalled when they wanted to upset Chief Ade Farati in Ondo State.
Right.
It was very difficult at some point that the PDP candidate Agagu had almost given up. There was struggle, contestation, and all the rest. And it was like Ade Farati was gaining the upper hand. Do you know what happened that changed the game? The death of Rufus Giwa in an accident. PDP just quickly latched on it that it was Ade Farati's negligence that killed Rufus Giwa. And Rufus Giwa was a poster boy in Ondo State at that time. And people felt aggrieved that why should Rufus Giwa be killed? And the results.
The anger reflected in the results of the election.
So that's why I said anything can still happen in politics. Nobody knows tomorrow. This Tinubu that they want to slaughter, what if it comes up today and say, just like Gandoji said, his health, it was ailing him.
So
what if
Tinubu decides, tomorrow and say, I'm
no longer interested, this wala is too much.
Okay.
It can happen. Anything can happen. What if tomorrow comes and this ADC collapses and then somebody just emerges from the firmament and Nigerians say, this is the right way to go?
Before we leave this topic, if the coalition decides not to, bring Peter Obi as its flag bearer, do you see? And it becomes
the vice president candidate.
Do you see a potential for Peter Obi emerging flag bearer for the Labour Party and winning, or do you see him maybe take a chill pill and decide to run alongside?
There are over 10 political parties that are in ICU that can still be resuscitated for Peter Obi. That's one. Two.
So you don't see him as Atiku Abubakar's running mate?
If he does that, honestly, he will be rubbishing whatever image he has. Because Atiku will rubbish him.
So what?
Look, you know now that a vice president or a deputy governor is a spare tire. The extent of your function in that government will be dictated by the position of your principal, who is the president of government.
Mr. Fanimo, he has submitted to the coalition that he is willing to go on a one-term. And if that doesn't work, do you see the possibility of an Atiku Abubakar campaign team also trying to win him over that, okay, run alongside Waziri for one term, and at the end of the first tenure, you can run as president while Atiku Abubakar steps down?
There was this story of a lion.
I don't want the story.
That was ailing. And he said all the animals should come and visit him to commiserate with him and also give him courage. But when it was the turn of tortoise, he now discovered that everybody that went in, there was no footprint to show that they came out. They went in and they never came out. And then the lion's cheek was becoming more robust. What does that tell you? Everybody that went in were killed for meal. So tortoise was wise to step back and say, no, let me greet you from afar and go back home alive. That is what is happening.
All right.
How can a Peter Obi believe that an Atiku Abubakar will serve one term and give him power to run the second term? That is the worst lie anybody can believe. So that's one. Apart from Atiku, the northern hegemony that he represents, that are also looking for 8 uninterrupted years to level up with the South, they will allow him to cede power to the South, and by extension giving it to Peter Obi. Well, if anybody is thinking along that line, that person needs to re-examine his position.
Okay, so many questions that begs for answers, but the reality still remains the position of the Nigerian people that I represent and will speak for. What exactly will you be doing with your votes in 2027? What alternatives do you have, looking at the current administration and the prospects around the 2027, alternatives? Which way, which direction, which way are we going? I think I should leave it that way, but it's time to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll come back to talk about a developing story, a sad one at that happened in Anambra State, where a tragic incident actually took the lives of 13 indigents of Ebonyi State. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to People's Voice on VOP TV as we bring you a developing, devastating story from Anambra State, where a tragic incident has unfolded. Gunmen attacked a gathering of Ebonyi indigenes in Ogboji, Orumba South local government area, killing 13 people, 13 adults. According to eyewitnesses, the gunmen arrived in SUVs, demanding the group's minutes book, and then opened fire on the participants who were holding their monthly meetings. The victims were mostly indigenes of Ebonyi State from various communities, including Isi, Ikwo, and Ungbo. The Anambra State government, Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwefuru, and the Association of Non-Indigenes of Anambra State, ANIAS, have all condemned the attack, describing it as barbaric and unprovoked. The Governor of Ebonyi State, Nwefuru, has demanded justice for the victims, expressing shock and dismay over the incident. On his part, the Anambra State government believes the attack may have stemmed from an internal disagreement within the Ebonyi Indigenes Association, while the police are still investigating the incident. ANIA's president, Prince Chigozie Nweke, has called for a thorough investigation and urged the governor of Anambra State, Governor Chukwuma Soludo, to deploy all state resources to bring the perpetrators to justice. As we conclude to monitor this developing story, we urge the authorities to please take swift action to apprehend the perpetrators and bring them to justice. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victim. So, Mr. Fanimo, well, I mean, this is quite sad. What can you make of this whole incident?
See, I'm really sad about all this because it just points to the fact that human lives are so infinitesimal in the hands of assailants these days, and that human lives have been reduced to data and statistics.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm aware we have a caller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Aina calling from Lagos.
Okay. Please go ahead. Let's get your thoughts.
Before I said, I want to really appreciate this TV station. This TV station is really catching my attention, and I believe you are here to stay. And I want to appreciate the management of Voice of Nigeria, Voice of the People TV, that you guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Now, back to the incident of the case of the Southeast leaders in the Anambra killing.
Okay.
This is becoming one too many in Nigeria, and I will please urge Tinubu and his government to really take security serious, because I see this to be a time bomb waiting to explode, because people cannot just go out, kill people. They are just uncalled for like that. So please, I will ask the federal government to please teach this to the bulk, or else it will implode in front of them. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I mean, we can feel the pain in his voice, but we will still say that, I mean, crime is never the way to go. The government should be on top of this conversation. But let me come back to you, Mr. Fanimo. Let's get your reaction. It's a very sad scenario.
You see, as sad as it is, I think the important thing is for government to take proactive measures. Because the moment you allow a criminal to go unquestioned, you have only encouraged the potential criminal coming behind him. Where there is no consequence for infraction, it's a recipe for chaos. Anambra State government should take proactive measures and delve into this and ensure that people that are culpable are brought to book, regardless of whoever that person is. Either as sponsor, either as active player. We can't continue to decimate our ranks through senseless killings and we fold our arms. If you think it's not going to get to you, what makes you think that by tomorrow it won't be your turn?
Yeah, 13 people just at once.
200 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
51 about a month ago. When you look at these statistics, these are people that are defenseless. They didn't take up arms. It's another thing if you have gone to war. Then that means you have surrendered your life for the sovereignty of the country. But this is a case of...
But in about 30 seconds, what do you think might be wrong? Because this is not a case of invasion. These are people in a meeting. Some people drove in. Eyewitness said that they came in SUVs, 2 SUVs, and they asked for the minutes of the meeting. open fire on people, 13 passed immediately, and some are in the hospital. To what end?
It's like sometimes one may not get the exact reason for this, but it points to one fact. It's a mission of vengeance. Maybe certain people at that meeting had betrayed certain people, and the whole idea is to take revenge.
But not justifiable.
Which is not justifiable.
Not justifiable. Well, thank you so much for your time on the show, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Thank you so much.
It's quite sad that we are ending this on a sad note.
Exactly, but it is what it is, because every life matters, and we pray that the souls of the departed find eternal rest and the families find the fortitude to bear the loss. But as we wrap up today's discussion on the ADC coalition, the attack on Mboyi indigenes in Anambra State, and the implications for Nigeria's political future, we urge our leaders to prioritize unity, security, and the welfare of all citizens. Let's continue to engage in informed, nuanced conversations that promote understanding, tolerance, and progress. I am Adefunke Jaismi, and I strongly believe in this project, Nigeria. Until next time, stay informed and engaged. Let's work together towards a better Nigeria. Good afternoon.